I'm so nervous I might throw up. So Monday I have a meeting at a gym, and we're going to talk about what classes I'm interested in teaching or instructing or coaching or whatever. So why am I terrified is because being in a bigger body, you're not always taken seriously. I did tell her, and I do have a friend in this facility already, so I'm not too concerned about this particular one. The one that I really want is actually connected to a hospital. It's a really nice facility. Maybe I'll do both. I don't know. We'll see. But here's a little bit of my backstory for those that don't know. Over the last 15 years, maybe more like 13 or 14, but I started going through all this emotional healing from my trauma. There was a lot of it that I didn't even realize, and growing up, so much of it I just thought was normal, and it was like, oh, okay. And fast forward a little bit, and I went through a really, really, really hard, quite a few years of life, where I was pretty much miserable all the time, and so like that contributed to just sheer willpower just to do basic human tasks, and go to work for everything. And when you're doing that all day every day, to try to do willpower to do other things, like, just doesn't work. And so then COVID hit, and I got really, really, really sick and almost died, and still have permanent lung damage from that. But throughout the last 5 or so years, 4 or 5 years, I started figuring out who I really am. And with all of this and all these layers of healing, and over the last 3 years, my physical health is in such a better spot than it was. So it took a really, really long time to even start to recover. It took almost a year to even start to recover, and then it took another almost 2 years to like feel pretty much normal again. Like, I still have to be careful and I have to watch it and whatnot, but like I pretty much back to where I was, or not even where I was. I actually think I'm better than where I was, but right now I'm not in that miserable job. So like that's a huge factor. But it was like a switch flipped, and all of a sudden I feel like I felt 20 years ago. Like, I feel like myself again. Like, I've worked through, and I think that it's partially because I've worked through so much emotional healing. I've started figuring out who I really am, and then also a lot of physical healing. So like there's it's a multi-factor thing, and this multi-factor thing as to why I gained all the weight in the first place. So I've had a passion for the last 10 years for fitness, but when I first started going into it, you know, I was in a bigger body then too, and like now I'm in a much better space physically. And then I was working out, but like I'm in a very, very, very different spot in life than I was then. And when I went into this, basically I had went through certification for personal training, correctional exercise. I had worked at a gym for 3 years, and I went into all this, and I had all these insecurities of not being taken seriously, because I've never been athletic. I've liked doing a lot of active things, but like never like athletic things. So like there was just so many reasons that I was like, my weight's gonna be a problem, my the fact that I'm not an athlete's gonna be a problem, like all these things, all these insecurities. I'm not good enough yet, I need to do XYZ first, and blah blah blah. And like, we're just, as a society, we're just taught you can't love yourself until, but like that until like never really happens. And it does, like, you still don't love yourself because it's not about that. It's about your view of your own worth, and like that's really what it boils down to. So I'm in a really different spot right now. So I'm going into this, yeah, there's still some insecurities, like putting this content out, I'm not really prepared for the backlash on that, but I'm doing it because I love you guys, and I want you to know that you can do whatever you want to. And yeah, of course you got to work hard at it, but like, man, you can love yourself right now before you make any changes, while you're making the changes, and after you make the changes. Like, you are allowed to do that. And honestly, I think that's really what body positivity is, or at least should be about, is like loving yourself. Like, even if you're working hard to make changes because you want to better your health, you want to feel better, you want to have a longer life, you want to have a better quality of life, all those things are really good things. And all those things, like weight loss, yes, 100% those things affect, weight loss affects those things. But you have permission to love yourself no matter where you're at right now. And that was something that I didn't give myself for the longest time. But I have worked really, really hard to get to a better place in that. And I think I am in a better place in that. So, the very first gym that I applied to as a personal trainer 10 years ago, just fed into every single insecurity that I had. It was the most toxic place ever. Now I know that. Then I thought that was just normal, and that's what, and they were right. And like, it was so bad. Basically, she made me jump through all of these hoops to do this interview. And then when I got to the interview, like, basically my workout routine, she was so harshly judgmental on it. It was actually a really good routine. But like, she was so harshly judgmental on it, and like, oh, you're not training in the right way, and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, the biggest thing in training the wrong way is if you hate what you're doing. Like, that's the biggest thing. And training your body does not need to have a weight loss goal attached to it. In fact, when you do, that number often controls everything. It dictates everything, and it actually becomes this unhealthy balance. Instead of just trying to get healthy and make better decisions, you end up hyper fixating on the wrong things, and that's exactly what was happening. And that's exactly what she was playing into, and that's exactly why she was, even though I had this like intense workout routine, it wasn't good enough for her, and like, what I was doing was terrible for what I needed to, what my goal should be. And I'm like, just because you think that should be my goal, that doesn't mean that it has to be my goal. Like, my goal was this, and anyways, so that whole mindset just sets people up for failure. And that's why I'm so passionate about like health and fitness, because it's like, mindset is huge in it. And it's not just about this perfectly curated, structured workout, health and like nutrition and fitness routine. And like, yeah, making better choices is amazing, and making better choices is going to very much impact your health. But like, when you hyper fixate on this perfect thing that's going to get you where you want to go the fastest, that's A, not real life, so it's going to set you up for failure, and B, not sustainable, so it's going to set you up for failure. But anyways, the whole point was, 10 years ago, that all played in that. So I had this interview. She basically judged everything that I did, absolutely, like harshly, and in all the wrong ways. And she was like, if you lose X number of pounds, then you can be a receptionist for a while, or we'll talk about being a receptionist for a while. And then after that, if you lose X number of pounds, then we can talk about you being a personal trainer. Like, and then then she made me like jump through all these other hoops that were like just insane after the interview to like do these cases and blah, blah, blah. Like, it was just a horrible, toxic, like, yeah, you need to hire people that are qualified and going to be good trainers, but like, this was a situation that was just terrible. Anyways, so, and I've had a lot of backlash for my weight as well, just existing. People are offended by my existence, to be perfectly honest. And I know those are not people for my community, but at the same time, when that's an insecurity of yours, I find when you get troll comments, the ones that bother you are the ones that you have insecurities about. The ones that don't bother you this has been my experience, typically it's because you're not insecure about it and you can just roll it off your back, and those are not the ones that like stick out in the mind. So anyways, I've been so terrified. I talk to you guys constantly about getting out of your comfort zone, taking the steps that scare you, and doing it anyways, and I'm doing that right now. I'm taking the advice that I give you guys, and I'm not gonna be a hypocrite. But this whole thing has been like, I don't want to put this content out. I've fought really hard for like the last year. I have two friends. One has been trying to get me to put content like this out for about a year, and the other one has been trying to get me to teach these aqua classes for a couple of years now. And I've been fighting very hard against both of those things, but I'm in a different spot now, and I'm doing all this because I want you guys to see that it is possible, and you can actually do anything you want to. And yeah, you got to work hard at it, and yeah, there's going to be obstacles, but you can do it. And Monday, I'm going to be meeting with this trainer at a gym, and we're going to see where it goes and how it goes and all of the things. And they are aware I don't have a typical personal trainer body, so and I actually don't entirely know what I want to do just yet. I know they're looking for personal trainers and aqua instructors, and I'm just doing because my personal trainer certification is actually expired right now, so I need to recertify on that. But right now I'm doing the group fitness certification, so that was my goal, is to like start with that. But I don't know, I realized that after they asked what I was interested in teaching, I realized that, sorry, somebody parked in a very strange spot. It must be a worker. I realized that I have only worked one-on-one with clients. Even when I was doing the one gym that I worked at, whenever I would help anybody, it was always one-on-one. Even though it was like a whole group thing that everybody did at the same time. Like when I helped somebody, it was one-on-one. I wasn't like actually instructing a whole class. So I'm like, I don't know, and I don't really know how to it's like a very different dynamic instructing an entire class than giving individual care, which the individual care is where I come alive, I think. And I don't know what's happening. And so I'm like, oh, maybe I do want to do personal training again, because that, like, the one-on-one, like really helping people with their individual need, because we're individuals. We are not like, yeah, there are some general rules of thumb that we can follow as a human being, like eating well, exercising. Those are like general things, but everybody is so individualized. Everybody's body reacts different to things. Everybody has different goals. Everybody has different desires. Everybody has different pains, and like some people who have out of balance muscles can't do certain things that other people can, and vice versa. And there's B. And I'm getting ready to go on a hike. But yeah, so, and that's another thing, like I've been having so much fun with physical activity, which I haven't had that in like 20 years. I've had some things I found that I like, but I haven't really had fun with any of it. And like today I just got done with my aqua class, and now I'm getting ready to go on a hike, and then I'm gonna kayak, and then I'm gonna spend the rest of the day at the beach. I'm probably gonna swim some more. So like I've been having so much fun, and like just go, and like I feel like I did 20 years ago. And I'm almost 40. Like I'll be 40 here in November, and I'm just like, I feel better than I have in the last 20 years, and I'm almost 40. Like it's amazing. But like I said, it's taken all of these years of working through the emotional, the mental, the physical, putting in the work, and all of these factors. We so often just look at like weight being the evil thing that's keeping you down, but like that's just it. There's so much more to it, and there's so many reasons that we hang on to the weight, and like not because we're like, oh, I want to hang on to this weight, but like our bodies hang on to the weight. Like it depends on how stressed you are. It depends on your emotional state, because those emotions, if you haven't worked through them, it's really, really hard to do the physical things. And there's just so many things that affect all of these things, and we tend to like look at one thing and blame one thing and like demonize certain things, and we're a one whole body. It works as one whole unit. So if our emotional or mental state is off, then it very much affects our physical body. It's not just like we just suddenly detach. That's just not how it works. So I just want to put all this stuff out here because I want to show you guys what I've been through. I want to be brave, but also I want to help you guys as much as I can, because that's my whole reason for doing any of this in the first place. Like the dream big and take action. Like I want you to be able to do that, and I want you to be able to do it happy, healthy, physically strong, like whatever your goals are. Even if it's just to move more, like that's totally fine. Whatever your goals are, like I want you to know that it doesn't matter your size, anything you've been through in life, your finances, like whatever it is, I want you to feel empowered to take back control over your own life. That's really what I want. And because there's so much that we feel powerless over, and like there's some things that we are, but like there's so much that we've just let other people have control over that we really should take ownership over, and our lives are so much better and happier. And it's really hard to work through all that and figure it out and stand up for ourselves. And I know I have a really, really, really hard time needing anything, and when I do, I have a very hard time asking for help, and I have pushed people out of my life a big time, because like letting people in is vulnerable and scary and all the things, but like these are all things that are very much important to work through. Physical, mental, emotional, all the things are very important to work through if we want good quality of life. So if you have questions, leave them, and I would love to answer them. And I love you, I believe in you, and dream big and take action.